In a moment, we are going to share with you what Easter traffic build-up is looking like across the country. And as always, you are urged to make sure that you do your necessary car checks and you pay heed to some of the traffic warnings that will be posted by the RMTC for updates on traffic and incidents across the country's major roads. And with the Easter traffic building up across the country, SABC News reporter Mahlako Komane gives us a live update on the latest on what's happening on the roads in Limpopo. Mahlako, good evening to you and welcome. A busy week already. We were talking to the RTMC a little bit earlier on, and thousands of cars already out on the road. What have you been witnessing?
Yes, good evening to you, Iman. You know, at around about 3 o'clock, just after 3 o'clock, we left, Johannesburg. This was the taxi that is behind me that we left with. On the way, it's making its way towards Polokwane. They've been traveling on the N1. So as just trying to come out of the Johannesburg, the CBD, very difficult. Wanderers is packed to such an extent that some parts had to just be closed off. You could see some of JMPD trying to mend that. It was so bad that the association that deals with that route from Johannesburg to Polokwane and vice versa had then decided that they were going to move out passengers into commuters, and they started, the taxis were started queuing at Loveday and Smith, where you could see, every 10 minutes or so, 3 taxis were leaving. I'd spoken to some of the people there, Marshall, they're telling us that by that 3 o'clock that we were there, they had approximately over 100 taxis that had left that area of Wanderers and, the new mini taxi rank that they started just in, to try and avert that situation of, that traffic and that congestion there at Wanderers. So it's quite busy in terms of that. Then you drive out of Johannesburg, eventually it's busy. It's also very much congested up until you just pass, I think it's Midrand, just after that Grand Central off-ramp. It starts sort of easing a little bit. Then you move out, you get to Pretoria, you see a little bit of traffic, but not too much. You get to the N1, and as you then continue there with the toll gates, you start with your Pumlani and you move to Carousel. It starts building up in terms of the traffic at Carousel. Then after Carousel would obviously be Kranskop, where we are. We're halfway through that journey. But let me bring in perhaps these 2 gentlemen that I'd spoken to earlier on, Iman, and they were with me in Wanderers. Let's pitch it so far, halfway point, we create a we want to
yeah, for now, annually, moto busy, Rwana to get traffic. Traffic, Maranu, watch for Mokrascopo, Peter Guru, was a play annual.
And then is uncle the passenger.
The passengers I didn't swear I would say, I want to Takamukulu, Tamabu, Zerakwana, Kamukului.
And then in terms of law enforcement, or Walibelela, Honali law enforcement,
was a good issue.
Let me translate that for you, Iman. Yeah, I was asking him about what he's seeing. Let me start with the last question. Law enforcement says Basokodisha, meaning that they are troublesome. I had heard an earlier conversation, I just won't go into that. But you do find, I saw the National, Traffic Police. I saw the Gauteng Traffic Police. I think Tshwane TMPD was also on the road. I did see that, not as much as I had seen or you'd normally see during this time of the year, but they are there nonetheless. But also even here at this particular filling station, it gets full, Iman. It gets so full that when you go into the shelves during the Easter season, in fact, on both sides of the highway, the shelves are almost empty because it just gets so busy. So today, not so much empty. There is, there are things on the shelf, but also even in terms of the traffic here, not a lot of people. It's not that congested as this is the halfway stop. It's just before the Kranskop, the Kranskop toll plaza. I also have another passenger that we had spoken to.
law enforcement ba sokodisa ba batla dijojo tseleng and dading ya re tshwara botseng bana ba re ditela o bushara ba re ditela mo tseleng mona ba re senyetsa nako
Iman, let me translate that one quickly. I think quite important. He's talking about the law enforcement officers, the traffic officers, saying that while they had a good journey, Iman, but they had then found that they weren't too happy with traffic officers, saying that they feel that they're just being pulled over for the sake of being pulled over. Not only that, they are accusing them of wanting bribes, Jojo, as it's called, saying that they're feeling that's the reason why they keep on being stopped, because in fact that was the conversation I'd heard earlier on. But other than that, we are continuing moving with these passengers. As you can see, as the driver had said, that as you approach Kranskop, it has begun clearing up. I think a lot of people deciding to take their journey earlier on, but Limpopo traffic reporting that they are seeing about 1,600 cars from here, Kranskop, going into Nail, and as you go into Polokwane. Back to you in studio, Iman.
Mahlako, what a delightful update. You almost make me want to get into a taxi myself and experience what you've been experiencing. And it's lovely to hear that, barring some of the congestion as you leave Gauteng, as you begin to move past Midrand and, beyond, it seems to be easing. There seems to be good traffic flow. So if you're thinking of heading out, that's the latest on the situation on the roads if you're heading towards Polokwane. Just remember that law enforcement is going to be out in force. There was another terrible accident at the weekend. There's high visibility plan by law enforcement there in Limpopo. I think at least 8 people perished on the roads on Saturday. So please do exercise vigilance, care and patience, and also consideration for your fellow motorists.